What is up, ladies and G-words? Welcome back to my main channel. Today we're going to be talking about X number of red flags in dating from my own experiences, my observations in other people's lives, my friends' lives. This is a bit of data collection here. And I'm not going to be going for the typical red flags, which are so blaringly obvious, but more so I will tell you ones that seem like a green flag in the moment, but they are actually hidden red flags. And because this is a psychology channel, I will be giving you the reason for why it is a red flag and how it's going to play out later in your relationship. So, as always, unfortunately, what's that guy, that football player guy? He always says, in this perfect world we live in this perfect world we live in, I must give a disclaimer. Yes, in this video, I will be talking about men for the most part. However, this video is not about hating on men. A lot of these red flags, I will tell you, you need to remember that someone might comment and be like, well, in my relationship, it actually didn't happen this way. Babe, you are the exception, you are not the rule. There is an exception for everything in the world. It's just like the doctor might say, hey, you've got cancer and you're gonna live another 3 months, and then somebody lives to like 97, okay? There is a chance and a possibility for everything being different. So let's end that discussion before it even comes into my comments. Also, a lot of these red flags in dating specifically for this video can simply be applied to people in general outside of the dating world. So the number one red flag, which looks like a green flag but is not, is people who come on way too strongly at the beginning. And I don't mean in a love bombing way. By the way, love bombing is intentional. If you don't know what it is, it's usually when someone is intentionally showering you with gifts, future faking, they want to see you nonstop, literally love bombing you. This is intentional, and narcissists use it to bond to you fast. But not everyone's a narcissist. A lot of people, if they are coming too strongly at the beginning, it's not because they're a narcissist. In fact, a lot of these people, they don't have negative intentions towards you. Their intention might actually be, I like you so much that I just want to spend so much time with you. Now, why is that a red flag? It's because they don't know you yet. And people like this, usually they don't know how to self-regulate. And what starts so high is always going to come down, when actually you should be getting to know someone, gradually getting to like them more and more and more, and you're always building up, versus they've already pedestaled you. They want to see you all the time, they're coming on so strongly, it will always fall. And from your point of view, you might be thinking, well, I'm such an amazing person, I'm so beautiful and funny and whatever, and of course they should be obsessed with me. And that's just our ego speaking, because someone who's actually mentally healthy would say, I don't know them yet. I need to take my time to get to know them instead of immediately jumping into this. Whatever starts fast will usually end fast as well. I remember a while ago I dated this guy. By the second date, bro, that he invited me to Spain to meet his family. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. And a couple of weeks later, when his excitement over us dating had calmed down, he said, yeah, I realize now in hindsight that I was overly excited and I couldn't control it, and I shouldn't have invited you. I didn't go. But you see, like, he knew later on. And actually, this man's inability to control his excitement about dating at the beginning led to us ending, because ultimately he couldn't keep up what he was like at the beginning, because those emotions level out and fade. Also, I would be really careful if someone's coming on so strongly and they are so good at courting. They're really used to doing this. And sometimes for these people, it can be a warning, because they might be jumping from partner to partner to partner. They like having a conquest. They love the dating phase, but they're actually really bad at maintaining it. And again, they might not even be having malicious intentions towards you or trying to sleep with you. It just might be how they are. They don't know how to correctly emotionally bond with someone. So all they know is jumping around. Another red flag is anyone who's trying to rush intimacy with you. Obviously, this depends on your goal. If you're just there for a hookup, sure, rush intimacy, that's what you're there for. If you want a long-term relationship, as a woman, and I always say this, you need to wait. Research papers confirm this as well. You should be waiting 3 to 6 months. Why? This is the optimal time to wait if you want a long-lasting relationship, because women, we bond through oxytocin. Oxytocin is produced during sex. Men, they bond through vasopressin, which is mainly time spent with you and investment into you. So we bond completely differently. And a lot of women think if we sleep together early on, we're going to bond. we're gonna last longer, I'm doing the right thing. So at the beginning, if you sleep together so soon, you will get rose tinted lenses as a woman. I remember my first boyfriend when I was very young, like 19, I didn't even like him, dude. And every time we would sleep together, I would like him again. Don't ask me why I was in that relationship. I was so young, first relationship, I didn't understand anything. But that's what happens. It gives you rose tinted lenses. And the importance of early dating is to get to know the person without that filter, without these rose tinted glasses. You haven't bonded to them in that way yet. So you now have the opportunity to see everything clearly. If you sleep with them prematurely, those glasses are on. It's going to be very difficult for you to see things clearly. And I've had women say to me, well, if I don't sleep with him, he's gonna leave me. Babe, think about it this way. If two people have the intention of dating for marriage, wanting to be together long term, doesn't really matter in his point of view if he's waiting 3 to 6 months. If he likes you for you, he wants to get to know you for you, not your body. He knows that eventually the body part's gonna come. That type of connection will come eventually, and if you're together, hey, you got the rest of your lives to explore that. Waiting is not going to matter. So actually you want to weed out guys this way. A guy who doesn't want you for you and wants you for your body, he will be out of there. So it is an excellent way to weed out guys. Also, I'm gonna tell you girls a trick that my evil male friends, I put in friends because I don't even know, have told me. I asked one of them, how do you usually soft launch asking a girl to sleep with you? And he gave me the whole manipulation protocol. And then my girlfriends were like, oh my God, yeah, my guy friends said they do the exact same thing. They will find any excuse to get you into the house. My guy friend said to his ex-wife, our first date, I left my jacket in my apartment because I was trying to get you up to my apartment. He might say, oh, you look like this actress in the movie. We should watch the movie at my house. You should come see my dog. You should have a look at the view from my apartment. Any reason to get you in the house. And then I said, well, what if she says to you, you're just trying to sleep with me? And he said, then I'll go, oh my God, you're so dirty minded. And then bingo, her guard is lowered. She thinks that's not what I'm after. And then he'll pounce. And I said to him, that's manipulation though. So you purposely lower a girl's guard and then pounce on her when she finally feels safe and vulnerable with you. And he said, yeah, pretty much. And it's because for a lot of guys, like men and women, they have different goals. Okay, texting too much at the start. This is a red flag because going back to point 1, people who bond securely know that bonding is not through texting, it's through in-person connection. So someone who's texting too much, that also tells me, especially if they haven't met you yet, that either they might be prematurely trying to bond with you, and 2, they probably don't know how to bond correctly. So try to have your connection be in person or over the phone, but always make sure there are dates planned. If someone is not planning to actively see you in real life, they're looking for a pen pal and they're wasting your time. Okay, this is gonna go back to point 1, jumping the gun. And this is not a red flag, this is something you need to do. I don't care what your feelings say, how strong the chemistry is, how much you trust your gut instinct and whatever, he's like the best guy you've ever met, she's the best woman you've ever met. You don't know them yet. This is the truth. You don't know them yet if it's only been a couple of weeks or even a couple of months. How do we properly get to know someone? It's through consistently seeing them and observing their actions. And it's also through looking at who are their friends. If he is the most wonderful guy ever, supposedly, and he's so loyal, and he's never said anything bad about women or talked badly about anyone, yet you meet his friends, and his friends, they all cheat on their girlfriends, they talk poorly about women, they're not of great character, and you think, wow, my boyfriend's nothing like his friends. He is like his friends, just not around you. You need to look at what the people around them are like, because remember, we are the sum of the 5 people we hang around most. And you need to look at what his family are like as well. What the people in his community say about him. How does he treat everyone around him? Her as well. That is how we learn how people are. Because someone can show you the most best, perfect version of themselves, but eventually the cracks will start to show. They can't keep this up forever. Someone who has an unstable life, especially an unstable career, will never be able to give you security, especially a man, because women, I think we can have a pretty unstable career and we will still find room for there to be love and a relationship in our life. While men, because traditionally they are the providers and their career is also linked to their ego and also their woman. They need to be stable in their career in order to provide you stability. So if he doesn't know where he's going in life, he's a bit directionless, how can you expect him to have direction and purpose with you? He doesn't even know what he wants. And this is usually where you'll see a lot of women end up in situationships, or they'll just be like going with the flow and seeing what happens. And by the way, when you're going with the flow, often it just kind of means you're waiting for them to choose you. And I need you to remember as a woman that you are actually the chooser, not the man. Like women, we are socialized to want to be chosen, to wait to be chosen, but you are the chooser. Because someone who has career certainty, they have goals, they have purpose, they have direction, they know what they want next in their life, and usually they know what they're looking for. So if you appeal, they're going to have intention with you. You have to move with intention. Next, let people be who they are. This is not a red flag, this is a tip. Don't try to control things. Let people be who they want to be, just observe their actions, and if they're doing something you don't like, I would bring it up one time. I would explicitly say, I don't like that you're doing this, and if they don't change it, then they gotta go, because you have told them you don't like it and they continue to do it, they continue to push your boundaries, they've gotta go. So a lot of guys, they know that you have boundaries, but they don't even believe you really do have these boundaries, so they will trick it in little ways. I'll give you an example. A while ago, I started to date this guy, and he was like the sweetest, nicest man at that time that I thought I had met, okay? And he treated me so well, and we were in like the early stages of dating, exclusive but not together. We were getting to know each other, and one thing I didn't like was that his following would be going up, right? So I said to him, if you want to be exclusive with me, no more following random girls. Otherwise, we're not exclusive. And he goes, well, we are exclusive, so I will stop doing it. You know what happened, guys? Every couple of days, there'll be whoop, one following up. And I'm like, the fuck? Meanwhile, he's like amazing in real life in every other way, and I feel secure. So I have this contradicting belief. I'm like, he wouldn't do that. I'm like, this must be a follow request from a long time ago. Your brain starts to rationalize it. And women, we are also socialized, remember, to give the benefit of the doubt. And then every now and then the following will go down, and then up again. So one day I sat him down, had a conversation. I said, I told you I don't like this, so why is this happening? You know what he said to me? The first thing he said was, you really should protect your peace. He's like, in my last relationship, I used to stalk my girlfriend's following. Then I realized protecting my peace is more important. So I said, wait, why don't you just stop doing this? And he literally said to me, I know that you check, but he still does it. So then I said to him, I enforced a boundary and you're crossing over it. I think this is a perfect example of how he was like kind of prodding at the boundary to just one following at a time to see if I would leave, to see if that boundary was actually real. How much can he get away with? Unfortunately, a lot of people would do this at the beginning, so you have to really stand firm on these boundaries. And I didn't know this at the time, and yeah, unfortunately, if you're dating someone who is so like seemingly good in every other way, your brain will almost make you believe there is no way they're doing this, especially after I've had this conversation. But if it continues, then you see that, yeah, they are doing this purposely to you. Okay, a huge red flag is not having a solid friendship group, or at least a couple of close friends. Because if you don't have any close connections, remember, close friends are mirrors of you. If you don't have anyone in your life who's holding you accountable, you can be emotionally intimate with, they will probably struggle with that in a relationship with you. There can be so many reasons why someone doesn't have close friends. So I know there'll be people in my comments who go, well, Simone, I'm a loner and I don't have any close friends. And yeah, well, maybe you are a red flag. I'm sorry, it's true, because you have to have close friends, guys. You need to have at least like one or two. If someone's like constantly cycling through new friends, they have a new friend group all the time, or they don't even have any friends, they don't know how to bond with people. They don't know how to have long-lasting connections. I'm sorry, it is the truth. Okay, if you have a conflict and they ignore you, or they shut down, or they immediately go to blaming you, zero conflict repair skills. Whenever someone brings up something where they're like, you hurt me, your job is not to explain why you should not feel hurt. Your job is to say, I'm sorry that I made you feel that way, and take accountability. Not taking accountability should actually be another point. So you should ask them, how did they break up in their last relationship? They immediately go, my ex was toxic, crazy, and then you ask, okay, but what role do you think you played in this breakup? And they're like, no, I was perfect. It was all this other person. Red flag, because it always takes two. It always takes two. If somebody has a string of situationships. Babe, what the fuck is a situationship? I always say this. What is a situationship and why are you having it? I feel like if you're engaging willingly in a situationship, it is because you don't have self-respect genuinely, because situationships benefit men more than they do women, unless you're a woman who's dating with the same mindset as a man. Situationships are just the easiest way for someone to fool around with multiple people, not choose you, not be loyal to you, not have responsibility for your emotions or for you, and then get all of the benefits and the upside. So if someone's constantly in these situationships, and worse, if they are long distance, like intercontinental relationships, intercontinental situationships, that just tells me they might actually be bad with intimacy as well. And I know, because when I was younger, I was one of these people. I wouldn't get into situationships, but I was always dating people or looking to date people who lived in a whole other continent to me, because I used to be avoidant. So I didn't want to see these people all the time if they were in front of me. This is way too real now, I have to get away. And you'll see this pattern a lot in avoidance, where they love to have intercontinental relationships or situationships. In fact, that is probably their preference. Oh guys, going back to an earlier point, I want to add how I said when someone's love bombing you, it's not always with malicious intentions, and it's usually because they can't emotionally regulate. It's because we give people too much credit that they are so smart to manipulate you. Number one. Number two, I have a good girlfriend, and unfortunately she is a love bomber. She's not manipulative. It's because this girl, genuinely, she'll meet someone and she can't regulate her emotions, so she immediately starts talking about the future, what they're gonna do, baby planning, house planning, everything. And she's very aware that she's doing these things, and she's like, I'm not doing it to manipulate them, it's because in the moment it feels good to me. That's the thing. If you're just going based on what feels good to you, you're not regulating yourself, because you shouldn't always be doing what feels good to you, especially because sometimes the person on the receiving end can take it in the wrong way. To them, it might look like, wow, this person is so invested. Now I'm feeling more invested with them. And you're just like quickening the pace of this relationship, even though maybe the person saying these things has no intention of it going anywhere. And they're just role playing because it feels good. Listen in, this is a big one. Women, if you start to complain about men, okay, or what men are like, or you're even explaining why maybe you don't trust him a little bit, and it's very reasonable if you look at what most of the men in the world are like. It is so reasonable. You know that cookie analogy, and it says, if I gave you a plate of cookies and I told you 9 of them are poisoned and there's only one good one, are you gonna willingly go and like eat on that tray? Or are you gonna eat that cookie and pick the cookie as if it is poisoned and then see what happens after? That is kind of what dating is like now with men, unfortunately. And I've noticed with all of my girlfriends, husbands or boyfriends who are like really good and approved by our friend group, all of them agree with this analogy, and they are very aware of what most men are like these days. So when a girl says, oh, I hate men, or they make a comment on men, they know that it's not about them, so they never get offended. In fact, they might agree with her because they feel secure knowing I am not like those other men. If a man immediately is like, well, not all men, oh, why, I don't like that you say, blah, blah, blah. It's usually because he knows he is in that group that you are hating on. I'm telling you, the evil guys I know, whenever, because I always hold these motherfuckers accountable in my life, whenever I'm talking about it, they get so triggered because they know they are in the group that I talk about. One of my girlfriends, whenever she goes off about hating men, her boyfriend's just like, yeah, tell them, babe. Okay, this is a final point I want to end with, and this is not just about dating. Watch how someone talks about themselves versus their actions, because it's going to tell them if their view on themselves is actually congruent with who they are. And if they are not self-aware, this would be a huge red flag, and it will end your relationship or your friendship. For example, someone might tell themselves, I am such a family person, my family is number one, but then you see through their actions, their family is actually never number one. In fact, they are number one, or you know, whatever else is number one. So then, example situation, the mother may bring up, well, darling, you actually missed your sister's ultrasound the other day because you went to that football game. And this person might get angry, or maybe they'll even get upset with themselves. So usually when these types of people, they don't have a clear view of who they are, and someone shows them actively and holds them accountable, they might not be able to accept it, and they will play victim, and they'll be so upset with who they are. And I've seen this happen with women and men, and it's just dangerous. It's dangerous to be around people like this because they don't know how to hold themselves accountable, and in their head, they are such a good person, or they are, you know, in this example, such a family person, but they are not. And if they can't accept that and now shift how they see themselves and take on that feedback, who's gonna get caught in this? You are. You, the person dating them, will get caught on it. You'll see, it won't specifically be isolated to this area. It will go into other areas. They won't be able to take accountability. They will probably blame you instead of them because they're trying to protect their own self-image, and maybe they'll even cut you off later on to preserve their self-image because they don't like that you're holding up a mirror. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I actually don't like making dating videos, and I'm not a dating coach, okay guys? Never ever classify me as a dating coach. I just like to share my experiences with women, okay? That's what I like to do. I love you guys. I'll see you on my second channel.